Hi, this is John Furman, Chief Rubbing Officer at Bub and Mother's Down East Dinner Dust. You know, if you want a great pulled pork, obviously the best way to do it is outside in the smoker, low and slow, for as long as you can until it's done. But what if you don't have a smoker? What if you live like I do up here in Maine and it's 20 below in a blizzard and you still want some good pulled pork? What we're going to do today is we're going to create a complete meal. We're going to have pulled pork, we're going to have some coleslaw, we're going to make our own barbecue sauce, all in the kitchen. We're going to still cook low and slow. We'll give you the recipe step by step, and if you can just follow along, we've got a nice Boston butt that we're going to cook up in the oven, low and slow, our own coleslaw with a Bub and Mother's dressing, and Bub and Mother's Down East Dinner Dust in our barbecue sauce. We in Maine will call that supper sauce. We'll be right back.
What's the first thing you think of when you think of Maine? Exactly. Great barbecue. We are Bub and Mother's Down East Dinner Dust, and our dry rub is made with organic and Maine ingredients. Things like blueberry, maple crystals, and even custom mustard. Go to bubandmothers.com and see for yourself. That's BUBNMUTHAS.com. It works with beef, pork, chicken, and even seafood. Email bubandmothers@gmail.com for a free recipe book, and then go to bubandmothers.com and order yours today. That's right, order today at bubandmothers.com and email us for free recipes.
Hi, welcome back. As you can see, we've got our dust ready and our meat. I just want to take you on a quick tour of a Boston butt. So you can see there's a lot of fat marbling through. As we cook low and slow, that fat is going to render down and give it the moistness that we want. And of course, putting our Bub and Mother's on it is going to give it the crust and the bark that makes for a great rub, pulled pork. Anyway, we're going to season this thing up and show you what to do next. Once you've got a nice coating of rub on it, as you can see, all the way around. And one tip I can give you is there really is not too much rub that you can use. Cooking it, it's going to be cooking probably a good 6 hours in the oven. We've got the oven heating up right now. It'll preheat to about 250, and that's where we're going to leave it. One of the things that we do is we're going to use a roasting pan with a grate on the bottom. That raises the meat off the bottom of the pan so it's not going to sit down in rendered fat and wash off some of the rub and not crisp up all the way around. So it's really important if you've got that raised rack. If not, put in an upside down pie tin if you have to. So we're going to go ahead and put it in there, and we're going to get it right in the oven. Okay, now we're going to whip up some coleslaw. I've gone ahead and I've chopped up some red cabbage. It adds color to the dish. It's also a nice crispy cabbage with good flavor. We've got about a cup of mayonnaise, and we sprinkled some Bub and Mother's on it. We're going to put a little bit more, if I can, don't mind me, working with cameras. Get a little of that on there. Okay, and again, don't be afraid to put a bunch on, all right? And all you're going to do is just mix it up. All right, you're going to want a nice red tint to it. And what you'll find is the longer it waits, the longer it sits, the more some of the flavoring releases into that mayo mix. In fact, I'm going to put a little bit more in there. Really get that going good. Because you know, pulled pork on a roll is going to taste real good with a topping of fresh coleslaw with Bub and Mother's dressing on it. Alright, we'll let that sit for a bit and then we'll mix it on up. Alright, now that that slaw is all mixed up, we're going to set it aside in the refrigerator. We're not going to serve it until the pulled pork is ready, probably in about 6 hours. That's going to give it plenty of time to release some of the moisture from the cabbage, mix in with the Bub and Mother's mixed mayo, and you're going to have some awesome flavors. So we're going to check back on that in a little bit. When we come back, we're going to make some supper sauce, our own homemade barbecue sauce. See you in a minute. Bye. Hey, this is John Furman here at Bub and Mother's Down East in the Dust. We're changing the way you think about barbecue. Think about it. What's the first thing you think about when you come to Maine? That's right, barbecue. Our barbecue rub is unique in that we use real sourced Maine ingredients from Maine companies. And we're made right here in Winter Harbor, Maine. You want to change your flavor outlook? Sprinkle a little of this. In fact, I guarantee one taste and you'll be talking with a Maine accent. Okay, we're back. We're in the kitchen. We've got our pork in the oven, low and slow at 250. We made the coleslaw, that's in the refrigerator. Kind of just cooling down, chilling for a little bit, marrying up all the flavors that we mix into the mayonnaise from the rub. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make some barbecue sauce. And what I'll show you is exactly what we do, how we start. I mean, I can already hear it sizzling over here. Because to me, no barbecue sauce is complete unless you're starting with bacon. So let's go take a look. I'll share all the ingredients and then we'll walk you through it as we put it all together. All right. A little bit of bacon. Now again, what kind you use, it's not as important. Like the flavor. I like a thick cut, smoked. This is cherry wood smoked bacon. Nice thick cut. How much should you use? Again, I leave that up to you. I just want to crisp it, render it. We're going to leave the fat in there through the whole process. Alright, so this is just about ready. We're going to start adding some ingredients in a second, but before we do, let's go take a look at everything that's going to go into the sauce. Alright, so we've got a nice, and this is a medium Vidalia onion that I've used. I've chopped it up completely. Alright, that's going to go in next, and we're going to render those down. I've got some organic, and doesn't have to be organic, but I just happen to have organic, apple cider vinegar. We've got some ketchup. Of course, Made in Maine maple syrup. We're going to add some spicy brown mustard. And a whole batch of Bub and Mother's Down East Dinner Dust. So let's get to mixing that up. And you can see it. I don't know if you can almost smell it probably through the camera here. You can see it smoking up. All right, it's really nice. You know, we just maybe a minute or so with the onions, get them nice and stirred up in there. All right, these things, you know, as they cook, what we're going to do is we're going to leave them in there until they break down. All right, they're almost going to be non-apparent in the sauce as we cook them. Alright, so we'll leave those in there for a bit. Now, the order you put the rest of it in is not critical. However, what I like to do to get that real, what I call combined flavor between Eastern North Carolina and Western North Carolina is, I like to add the vinegar first and let it cook for a little bit. So, come on over and we'll grab that. Our apple cider vinegar. Let me get that in there. Okay? Man, I'm telling you, if this camera had smell-o-vision, you guys would be in for a real treat. So we're going to literally bring this to a boil. before we add any more ingredients. All right, so let's just come on back in about 45 seconds. Okay, so as you can tell by the steam coming up, we've got a good boil going on. And what we're going to do is we're going to add some Bub and Mothers. Get that in there first. 2 tablespoons, give or take. Mix it all in. It's a nice part of TV. So we'll get that all mixed in there. Let that start to cook a little bit. We're trying to layer everything in so that, you know, the flavor profile really comes through when this is done. Okay, I'll be right back. Let me get a few more things. All right, now that we've got the clear and the powder mixes in there, the Bub and Mothers, we're going to add about a cup of household ketchup. Again, nothing special, right? Just stuff that's around the house. What you'll find if you order the Bub and Mothers cookbook is a lot of the recipes require basically what you've got in the cabinet. So we want to work with those. All right, let's hope we don't make too much noise on camera, but we're gonna, a little bit of spicy mustard, even though we've got dry mustard in our rub. We're also gonna add almost a cup of Maine maple syrup, and that'll add on top of the maple crystals that are in the rub to the overall sauce. It'll give it some volume and a nice sweet finish. We've got one more ingredient. Let's just get this going. I'm telling you, if you guys could smell this, and already in just a short period of time, we're starting to get the aroma come up through the oven from the pork with the rub. So this is just coming together in a perfect way. Let me go grab the last ingredient. Now, we haven't labeled this because they're not a sponsor of ours, and you know, we don't really endorse it, but this is a nice Kentucky bourbon. And without giving the name away, you can just look up the maker's mark and you'll know which one it is. So we pour it in there, a nice heavy dose, and we're going to cook it so that the alcohol will render out what you want, but the flavor, as it reduces, will be enhanced. And this, now we're just going to turn it to a simmer, and it's going to simmer for another 2 hours until it reduces itself. Once it does, we'll be able to prepare it, cool it down, and serve it later on with our pulled pork. We'll be right back with a few more tips.
What's the first thing you think of when you think of Maine? Exactly. Great barbecue. We are Bub and Mother's Down East Dinner Dust, and our dry rub is made with organic and Maine ingredients. Things like blueberry, maple crystals, and even custom mustard. Go to bubandmothers.com and see for yourself. That's BUBNMUTHAS.com. It works with beef, pork, chicken, and even seafood. Email bubandmothers@gmail.com for a free recipe book, and then go to bubandmothers.com and order yours today. That's right, order today at bubandmothers.com and email us for free recipes.
And here it is, Bub and Mother's homemade Down East supper sauce. This barbecue sauce has been cooking on the oven now for about 2 hours, on the stove I should say. Nice and low, just again to cook off the alcohol in the bourbon and to bring all the flavors together. Now, there is a suggestion if you want, because there's still pieces of onion and bacon in here, I like to leave them in there so that when I use it later on, those pieces transfer onto the meat or chicken if I'm going to do it on some chicken. But you can, if you want it to be a little bit smoother, a little bit more consistent, put it in a blender and just blend it up to break down the last of the onions and bacon. But other than that, it's here, it's ready to cool off, and oh man, what a great taste. We look forward to serving this for you. Come on up to Maine and we'll give you something to smack your lips about. Now when we come back, we'll take a look at the progress of the pork as we go, and right after that we'll be fixing up the rolls, some barbecue, and coleslaw sandwiches. Talk to you soon. There it is, folks, complete. Again, simple, done in your oven. Leave it alone 5 to 6 hours, depending on the way you like it done. And as you can see, you've got the same bark that you'd have out there on your smoker. You're not going to have that smoke ring. You know, you're not going to get a little bit of that smoky test, but with Bub and Mother's Down East Dinner Dust on there, you got plenty of flavor as it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to break this thing down and put together the rest of the meal and show you the end result. Back in 60 seconds. Hey, this is John Furman here at Bub and Mother's Down East Dinner Dust. We're changing the way you think about barbecue. Think about it. What's the first thing you think about when you come to Maine? That's right, barbecue. Our barbecue rub is unique in that we use real sourced Maine ingredients from Maine companies. And we're made right here in Winter Harbor, Maine. You want to change your flavor outlook? Sprinkle a little of this. In fact, I guarantee one taste and you'll be talking with a Maine accent. There it is. That is some serious pork. I mean, you look at the consistency. You got the bark, you've got your pork. It is so juicy. I'm not putting that one back. That is so good. So, I'm just going to take it by the hand. I mean, if this is the way you do it at your barbecue. Load up the sandwich. Pile it on there. Oh yeah. Gotta have it big, gotta have it messy. Lovely. Yep, we take a look at that. Oh yeah. And we gotta add some of that sauce. Neatness does not count. And then the final little bit of our red cabbage coleslaw with Bub and Mother's mayo that we made earlier on. Well, and folks, I definitely recommend if you're going to take and tackle on something like these, do not serve it with napkins. That bad boy needs a roll of paper towels. So once again, in the oven, pulled pork, homemade barbecue sauce, and Bub and Mother's mayo added to red cabbage coleslaw. That is a winter barbecue in Maine. Till next time, John Furman, Chief Rubbing Officer from Bub and Mother's Wishing you all the best. Have an awesome day. Brought to you by bubandmothers.com. For free recipes, email us at bubandmothers@gmail.com or sign up for our monthly newsletter by going to www.bubandmothers.com.